welcome to episode 5 of Quilting on Caffeine. My name is Christine. Thank you for joining me today, whether you're new or whether you're returning. I'm always happy to have you here. So when I'm not here on this channel, I blog over at www.modernlittle.me, and most often you can find me on Instagram as @modernlittlemE. It is the last week of April. I cannot believe that May is literally around the corner. Time flew this year, and I don't know if that's just because time did not fly last year, or if the days are just fuller. I haven't figured that out yet. But here we are. Being that it's the 5th episode and we're about to enter the 5th month of the year, you see where I'm going with this? I'm drinking out of a mug given to me by my good friend Erica, which starts with E, which is the 5th letter of the alphabet. It is an adorable little mug from Anthropologie with my initials all over it in my colors. I mean, talk about perfection. With typography, which speaks to my graphic design background and my passion for all things type-based. And you can hear the ice jiggling. It is actually an iced coffee because I think it's going to be 70 degrees today. And there's definitely going to be some quilt binding on the back patio because I'm so close on 2 quilts. I'm within a yard of binding left to do. And that's super exciting because that will be 2 finishes. So yes, I have cold brew Starbucks because that is also a commonality with Erica. In my Erica mug, as I call it, that nobody else in this house can claim because I'm the only one who has C in their name. It's been crazy. While I have been working on binding quilts, I've done nothing else. No, that's not true. I did have to sew a slew of masks over the weekend because I have both kids back in school 5 days a week. We found that out on Friday. So last week was school break. That's just a challenge here. And on Friday we found out that our older son was going to be able to return 5 days a week. My younger child's been in since the beginning 5 days a week, and has been doing really well, but my older one has only been hybrid. So I have not wrapped my head around it, nor have I actually figured out how or what my life is going to look like during the school days now, because it's been 14 months since I've had 2 kids in school, and 14 months ago I was working a full-time job. So I'm not working that job anymore. So I don't know. I mean, can you tell? I don't even know. I'm it's such a foreign concept. And it came out of the blue a little bit. I wasn't expecting to get that response. So lots of changes. I'm in a different area. I'm not in my studio today. Mostly because it's just such a mess. I sat down in there to vlog twice and I just couldn't even all I could see was the mess and it was distracting. So I moved into the corner of the living room. You can see my little quilt ladder back here. So mixing it up a lot. But I've done nothing. I made masks, which I guess is something. Haven't finished anything. I might have cast on a new sweater. I totally cast on a new sweater since I've last been here. But that was because I felt like I needed something on the go. Because while my kids have not both been in school, they both, like, extracurriculars and doctor's appointments and all of that have started to go back to in person for them. So I find myself with a little more car time than I normally have. So I felt like I needed something mindless and quick to work on there, because I'm not going to bring. I mean, I've definitely brought the quilt out and about to bind, but it's not. I'm not going to hand sew. I mean, I'm not a hand sewer, so I wanted something to do with that time rather than just like scroll through my phone. That's not good for anybody. So yeah, school break was last week. I got my vaccine, which is amazing. But whoa, it took me down for the count. I don't even want to talk about it. It was not pretty, and there are 3 days I don't know what happened to. But I'm that much closer and super excited. So, thank you, science. I am, and this is probably the real reason I haven't done anything, is I am handling the yearbook for my younger child's school. And this is a tough year. I did it last year, which was also tough. Not gonna lie, because we only really had 3 months of school before all this kind of hit. 4 months. And this year, it's been all distance, and there's not volunteers allowed in the schools. So it's hard. I mean, it's not hard. There's just a lot of organization that has to go into it. And last year I had a team, and this year I seem to be the team. And it's just very time consuming. And there's a lot of, I don't know why, but it's taking a mental toll on me. I think because there's just so many moving pieces and the deadline is looming, and I'm not able to go into the school and get those last pictures, and I rely on parents a lot more this year and teachers a lot more this year. I don't know. It's just, it's taking its, I mean, I don't regret doing it, and I'm happy to do it, and I love organizing stuff, so it's not that. I think it's just I think, like everything, it's just exhausting. It's different how we're functioning, and I'm not used to it that way, and I'm just tired, and life in general is exhausting, so add that in, it's like, oh. But it's gonna be awesome. But I don't feel like being, at the end of the day, my end of the day is now, like, I'm doing that until 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. So by the time I get to the end of the day, there's not any sewing or quilting that's happening. And then it's Teacher Appreciation Week at the older kids' school, and I'm involved in that, and they do 100% deserve to be appreciated, but the timing is like, I'm looking forward to May 8th, when everything is over and off of my plate, and then maybe I can regroup and figure out what's next. Like, what does this new world look like for the next at least 6 weeks? And how can I make the most of it? And what do I want to do at that time? So yeah, so I don't have much to show. Maybe I'll take you outside and bind with me later. But right now I think I'm gonna, like, drink the coffee out of my Erica mug. I was gonna say maybe clean, but that's not gonna happen. Clean my studio, not the house. I don't know. But I'll be back in a bit. Hi. So, as promised, a few more on the go. Skittering about my days videos involved. Outside, it is after school on what turned into be a beautiful day. It started out really gross. But then the sun came out, and now I'm sure you can hear the birds chirping. And you can see my fence that one of these days might just fall down on me. That's neither here nor there. I've got two kids on two opposite ends of the yard, entertaining themselves and not bickering, which is a rarity. I've got two dogs, which I'm sure you'll hear their collars as they run back and forth. And I'm sitting here and I'm trying to do some handwork, which is something I want to be better with. The last time I was vlogging, so episode 4, I brought up this little quilt, and I even said on the vlog, I think, that I wanted to bind it, make sure that I had it ready to bind the backside of during playground time, now that we're in playground season, and it's so short-lived here in New England. So something that I could do when my kids asked for a few more moments on the playground or wanted to play with friends after getting out of school. I've been pretty good about that. I have, can you see it right here? I have had it with me occasionally. I am binding it in Cosmo embroidery floss, and perhaps the best color ever, orange. I'm playing around with Big Stitch. This is kind of a blanket stitch. I have decided that I am not very good at hiding my binding stitches or doing it evenly or patiently, so I am embracing that. And I kind of love how it looks, so this might be a new thing for me for a while. Lots of ums today. I have to work on that. Grabbed a coffee on the way to pick up because I was dragging. It is by New Harvest Roasters, which is a local company, I want to say out of Providence. And they brew it at my favorite little cafe in town. But yeah, so taking some time. It feels a little bit like I would assume one would feel if they're playing hooky from school, because there's lots of chores to be done inside, but those can wait for a rainy day. Dinner's in the crock pot, cooking away. So yeah, just kind of spending some time doing what I like to do. Praying that they don't fight. I don't know if you can hear them in the background. This is not their preferred way to spend the afternoon. So I had to stop recording there because we have huge carpenter bees in our yard, which is a problem, so something that's to be dealt with. But if they even come within 3 feet of either child, there is screaming. The neighbors must think that like there's a daily murder happening over here, or a multi-daily murder, multi-times a day murder.
Are they in there?
Just with the screaming. And I understand they're big and they're gross and they're annoying, and I need to deal with it. My son wasn't pleased with my response, my younger son, so he went and got reinforcements in the form of my husband, who's now dealing with it. Like so. Never a dull moment. So I have a buddy. She's going to climb up on me in a second. Oh. She cannot. It's not just if cats who say if I fits, I sits. It's definitely my dog too. But we can work around her. So, loving the way this stitch is looking. I might be embracing the big stitch binding. Later I'll show you the Camden Road, which is also a big stitch binding, but I didn't love how that actually looked in the end. I mean, it's fine. It works. It was a good experiment, but I think I love the blanket stitch binding, and I think the orange helps it pop against all this gray in the background. And then you need to get down, puppy. This will be the first quilt that has my label on it. I got these during the sale, the Black Friday sale from the Black Friday sale from Dutch Label Shop, which I think is like the best game in town. I mean, I love how they look. My focus is failing. There you go. Love how they look. But I've bound multiple quilts since getting these and have yet to remember to put the label in. So this will be the inaugural quilt. It will be interesting to see once I get this all edited together, how this comes together, I guess. That's what I'll be interested to see. I feel like I've had to stop and start so many times. I don't even remember what I've said anymore. I think I've talked about my coffee. I think I've talked about being outside, enjoying the weather. We've had bees dive bombing the younger kid. We have a plane flying overhead right now. We've had car alarms going off, which sets off everybody. It's crazy. The plane's flying very low. But I'm determined to enjoy this day. As miserable as it might make me, I am going to enjoy the day. I'm going to deem this a success. Even though in the hour that I've been out here, I have gotten up for 2 different snacks. I have let the dogs in and out at least 3 or 4 times. I have stopped to combat carpenter bees. I have paused for barking dogs. I have paused for children screaming. took a few minutes to regroup after the bird made itself way too comfortable taking my thread. But I drank a cup of coffee and I got about 2/3 of the longest side of this bound. And I'm like, I'm kind of loving it. And now I just want to keep going. And I could keep going, except for that it's just me outside right now, which feels like I could classify that under barely parenting on caffeine and not quilting on caffeine. My coffee's done. It was delicious and perfect. And I think I'm going to get back inside. I think I'm going to I hope to keep binding. Because I think that I don't know. I have to work tonight, but it would feel really good. It would feel really good knowing that this was like almost done. Maybe like 2 more playground trips. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Hi. So it is a day and a half later. I had the best intentions to finish this up last night, but it just didn't happen. I was working until 11ish, and that's, I don't have anything in me by the time that's done. But I ended the last clip too abruptly, so I had to come back on and say something, right? So it is now late Thursday night. It's almost the 5th month of May. May. 1 more day. I just have a little bit left to go on this. And even though it's a day and a half later, I'm still using my Erica mug. I have washed it and I filled it with a different beverage because it's too late to be quilting on caffeine. I need to be quilting on something else right now. But I'm going to get everybody settled in for the evening. I'm going to finish this, edit it, and post it. And then I'm going to sit down with this and maybe find another project for someday. Thanks again for joining me. I always appreciate you coming and spending time with me. I'll see you soon, but in the meantime, quilt on and drink up. Bye.